They call him Johnny 2/3. And while his name sounds like a fraction, this story has nothing to do with math. It's about a renowned tattoo artist who left his own permanent impression, inking over 25,000 tattoos. And he's also an ordained minister.
This is what we look like sometimes. The most awesome thing about the church is that everyone's welcome.
And if that isn't enough, his First Amendment lawsuit actually gave tattoo artists around the country the right to ink. Yeah, Johnny 2/3 fought the law, but he won. Hermosa Beach, California, known for the sand, surf, and the sunsets aren't too bad either. It's also home to Yer Cheat'n Heart Tattoo Shop, where most days you'll find Johnny 2/3 working on his latest living canvas. I love the 4 tattoos that Johnny's done on me over the years, some of my most special pieces. So today, I'm giving up my space so that 2 others can experience Johnny and his art for the very first time. And all I ask of them is they share their story.
My name is Greg Thompson. When I turned 19, I had my very first tattoo. It's now been covered up by a much better one now that I have a little bit more finance to work with. The last 5 years, I've started adding on to my art on my body. And so today, getting another piece of traditional tattoo that has a lot of meaning to me, I'm greatly looking forward to.
So what are you thinking of doing?
There were 3 options. I don't know whatever one you guys want to choose.
He's surprising you, right?
Yeah.
You picked 3 and he's gonna, literally, you're like leaving it up to him?
Absolutely,
Go, brother.
100%.
Let's rock and roll.
Let's do it.
Everything's
You
rough. Go
first.
ahead. No, age before beauty.
That's right.
That is funny, man. So I was just talking to Johnny a second ago about how you and I knew you and you had like 0 tattoos, everything else. You're like 100 pounds heavier, roughly.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, like washboard abs, completely transformed. You have like 5 tattoos, and kind of from 0 to 100.
I try. No.
Hey,
What's going on?
I'll let you
who do I shake first?
Good to see you again, man.
So you're surprising today. Like, what did we do? Like, you came up with 3 different designs. I saw them. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, there are 3 things that I've seen him do for other people that I was like, oh man, these are great ideas, and I know that I just left it all in his hands.
What did you pick one?
So yeah, I chose to do the dagger just because it seemed more up my alley. It was also the first option I was given, so first idea is always the best typically, right?
Awesome.
So you're drawing up a dagger. You know which one that is?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the story with the dagger? What was behind that?
Well, I mean, the first thing I'm always drawn to is the art of it, and I just love all of his traditional tattoos, and it's something that's classic look. A lot of the daggers will have a ribbon that run around it that have a saying that's sentimental or means a lot to them, and my quote is without struggle there's no progress, and it's one that I've been wanting to kind of put somewhere on me.
Without struggle, there's no progress. In the dagger, you're putting.
Yeah, a ribbon that goes around that, and it just meant a lot to me. And if I could do that in a traditional form, it just seemed like a perfect fit.
So tell me a little bit, like as we're going through this, a little bit about your story, specifically the dagger and then the quote.
Without struggle, there is no progress.
You've been through quite a bit of progress, I think, in the last year, 2 years of your life, right? You've changed a lot.
Sure. You know, it's been 4.5 years since I've been sober, or since I took my last drink, my last pill. You know, as Drew has seen me, he's seen both sides of me. You know, you've seen me incredibly,
I've seen 8 sides of
S-faced.
you.
Yeah, listen, you know, there was a different energy to me. I was 60 pounds heavier. I was living an unhealthy life. There was only a few people that really kind of saw the dark side of what I was going through and knew about it, your family being one of them. So it wasn't something that, you know, I shared with a lot of people. Unfortunately, I don't have an off switch.
Yeah.
And so 4.5 years ago, my wife helped me make this decision because I was robbing my wife and my kids of their dreams by constantly not being present in their lives. And so 4.5 years ago, I changed.
I mean, I watched firsthand the struggles the first time, the second time, and I don't know how many times you tried and had setbacks. And I think that honestly says the most about you personally, and anyone who overcomes it like you do. Is it does not matter. You don't look at the setback. And man, you just like really controlled and owned and went with life and turned it around and transformed in so many ways.
Oh, yeah. It looks great. It looks great. It's everything I wanted. That's
You in?
perfect. Yes.
All right.
100%.
Ready to tattoo?
Let's do it.
All right. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I've been in recovery for a long time for alcohol and opiates. And since I was 19, you know, all the way up till 5 years ago, you know, was constantly living life to its fullest, you know, having no regard for what I had, you know, my wife, my kids. And so when I was able to start really embracing what recovery meant and building up some sobriety and some time, the tattoos kind of began a way for me to symbolize that this journey is ongoing. And so when I add pieces to it, they usually have strength. They usually have this idea of, you know, mortality. I think that embrace what you have now, live in the now, appreciate what you have, be humble. And if I carry those things throughout my life on a daily basis, I know that that I'll live a clean life and I'll live a long life.
What do you think, dude?
Looks great. I mean, like I said, it's the first one that I chose that is meaningful, you know, in terms of my sobriety and things like that, and my growth as a person. This is the one that I chose specifically for that. And so I really appreciate it. It's awesome. So thank you very much, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's great.
Oh, I like the placement. Man.
Yeah.
Perfect piece.
I'm glad you like it.
Oh, man. Thank you very much.
It's amazing to me that something so heavy could be marked with a tattoo.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Bye, brother.
Appreciate it.
Talk to you soon.
Awesome.
That was easy, right? But getting a tattoo in Hermosa hasn't always been easy. In fact, it was a 7-year-long legal battle, to be specific. And I don't know, I wonder if that had anything to do with his name. How'd you come up with 2/3, by the way? Because I don't know anyone named like a fraction.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
What's the story?
So I started going by that nickname about 20 years ago. There is a story for the Johnny 2/3. However, when I would tell people where it came from, they would get so disappointed at the story, the real story, that I decided to stop telling people because I couldn't deal with the disappointment in their eyes. So I started telling people probably about 15, 16 years ago, make up whatever you want. So I literally haven't told anybody in a long, long time.
Why were they disappointed? What's the real story? And
I'm not gonna tell you.
You should not even be standing here. We shouldn't be. There was a massive legal battle that you were the man behind that basically not only enabled tattoo shops in the city of Hermosa Beach, where we are right now, that were banned, not allowed, but there are tattoo shops all across the country in cities and towns that previously to you in your court case would not have existed, were not allowed to exist. What exactly was the story there?
So there was a coffee shop right below us that I used to hang out at as a teenager, and I literally grew up on this pier.
In Hermosa Beach?
In Hermosa Beach, just hanging out. And I remember sitting at this coffee shop directly below us thinking, one day I'm gonna come back and open up a tattoo shop here.
And at the time, there were no actual tattoo shops.
And this is where it gets interesting.
So you went to San Pedro because that was
LA.
You were able to get okay.
So Venice Beach, Hollywood, San Pedro, Harbor City, those are all parts of the city of Los Angeles. That's why tattooing was allowed there. Every other city, tattooing was prohibited, or they didn't have it on the books. I met this lawyer, and this lawyer actually said he couldn't believe me when I said it was illegal to tattoo in Hermosa Beach. Because he's like, that doesn't make any sense. How could it be illegal? And his speciality was First Amendment cases. He said, tattooing's a legitimate art form. We should be able to get First Amendment relief. And I said, well, listen, I don't have any money. I got this young family. Right. And
well, he looked at you and said, hey, this just isn't right.
Oh, he's a great guy. Yeah, his name's Robert Most. And he was this like freedom fighter for the First Amendment. But he said, listen, the way it works is if we win the case, the city has to actually pay for my legal fees. So he said, I'm gambling that this is something that I think we could win. And so we started the lawsuit with Hermosa. As soon as I filed the lawsuit, I got fired, by the way.
From your tattoo shop?
From the tattoo shop in Pedro. Wow. So they really viewed me suing the city and desiring to open up a shop here as being stepping on their toes. That's actually what led to opening up the Gardena shop, because I needed a place to work. And the court case took 7 years.
Did you or your lawyer say this could go on for 7 years?
Oh, we actually lost first. The first time we appeared before the judge, she had no understanding of the actual case. She kept comparing me to like a hairstylist. So she kept saying there's no speech here, there's no issue of speech here. And she seemed to feel very strongly that either she didn't understand the case or she just did not like tattoos. What they said was that it was going to attract
the wrong sort.
The wrong sort of people, which is so interesting, right? Because who does it attract? It attracts everybody. But I thought my lawyer was going to leave, actually. He said, look, I'm willing to roll the dice again. And so we filed with the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. But there's like a wait, like a 3-year wait to go before them. And some of the Ninth Circuit are very, very conservative. Right. Some are very liberal. So my lawyer, Robin, had these are the judges we're hoping to get. These are the guys we don't want, and we especially don't want these 3 guys.
That are gonna walk in like this when they see you.
Right, and remember we had already lost. So he calls me up and he says, we drew the 3 most conservative judges on the panel. And he goes, if we go up before them, we're gonna lose. So I'm thinking about it, praying about it, asking God, like, what should I do? What he wanted to do was to roll the dice again and wait another 3 years. So I call him up and I said, listen, I just want to be done with this. 7 years, let's take the judges. And I said, I believe that God told me whatever he desires from this, he's going to do anyway, and it has nothing to do with the judges. Now, to my lawyer, that sounded like crazy talk, right? It sounded like crazy talk. I mean, it's just even saying it now, it sounds a little bit crazy, right? So I get there, I see my lawyer, and he has his daughter with him. And we meet up, and he says, you know we're gonna lose, right? And I said, I know you keep saying that. And I said, but I don't know how much you know about the Bible, but I've been thinking about David and Goliath the whole way up here. The odds for David didn't matter. He had no armor, he had no weapon, and yet God slayed this giant through David's hand with these 5 smooth stones. It had nothing to do with David. I had this confidence that regardless of what happened, that God was in control of my circumstances. And I don't know if I've ever felt that way. Before that or after that, as strong.
You knew you were gonna be okay.
Yeah, totally knew we were gonna be okay, but wanted the victory, but wasn't overly concerned about it. And we walk in and the judges start talking, and it becomes so obvious from 30 seconds in that the judges are upset that this is on their desk. Because, and they ultimately ruled that tattooing is pure speech. So it's protected like a printing press is in this country. Like, they were offended the city of Hermosa had prohibited it. And so at one point, the attorney for the city of Hermosa even goes, like, do all you guys have tattoos? It was the most one-sided thing I think I've ever seen. But that was the point I realized, like, oh shoot, dude, we're gonna win. And we got the ruling right there that it was protected, it was pure speech, and that drive back to Palm Springs, all the implications started to hit me. The implication was that this would set precedents, which meant every town or city in the United States now, they could not prohibit tattooing.
They overturned the city of Hermosa. They rule in favor of Johnny Anderson. When those words were said, what went through your mind right then and there?
So I remember wanting to call my wife, wanting to tell her about it, because it was such a big deal for me in my life. It was such so much vested interest had gone into this, right? I couldn't believe we won.
You get choked up in your eye. I mean, how many years is this? How many years ago is this?
10 years, 10 years ago.
It's still raw.
Here's what it was. It was, I think the realness of it is kind of hitting me, that we started here in Hermosa, that there was nothing special about me. Just a dumb kid that had this dream that I was going to not only tattoo, I mean, that still blows my mind that this is what I get to do for a living. It blows my mind. But that I would sit underneath this spot where we're at, it blows my mind. Like, God has been so good in this.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm Drew. I know you from your pictures.
Nice to meet you.
Johnny.
Hi, so nice to meet you. So in 2015, it was around late August. I was taking a bath and I felt a lump, but I thought I was getting sick because it was kind of near my armpit. And I waited a couple days, and then I thought, well, let me go get it checked. And I never imagined that they were going to tell me that it was stage 2B triple negative breast cancer. So with me, after chemotherapy, which was pretty tough in itself, I had radiation, and with radiation they give you a couple of little tattoos. Right. And the tattoos, somebody else might think that they're not that big of a deal because they do look like a freckle.
Right.
But to me, they're something, and I've always known that I wanted to turn one of them into a beautiful work of art, because I feel like breast cancer doesn't define me. It's not who I am. But I kind of look at the little dot as kind of like a seed, a seed that has to like fight through the soil to become something. So that's why the flower is important to me.
Yeah.
Because it truly was it was the biggest fight of my life. Yeah. It really, really was. It was not an easy battle. Not at all.
Let me do this. Let me drop the design, and then we'll kind of go from there.
When I went in for my first appointment, you said, oh, we're going to give you these little tattoos. I was like, huh, what? You have to go in every single day, and it has to be exact where they, how they're going to radiate you. It's a huge learning curve. The journey, it's almost like it's out of your hands.
Come on over.
I love how he incorporated the dot. I thought it would just be fully covered. I just did never imagine that it find a way how to incorporate it. I'm super stoked.
Go ahead and have a look at that. Make sure you like it.
I love it.
All righty.
When you're given cancer, you have no control. I don't think I could have done it without my support system, for sure. My family, is a huge one. I just felt like the lotus, the symbolism of the lotus was like really speaking to me.
How's the pain factor? And I know you've been through a lot already, but in life, but
It's
It's got its moments.
This is the most painful part, and I see it on your face, and I kind of feel the pain with you, but it's for a lifetime of something that you'll love. How many kids do you have again?
I have 2, and I have a grandson. He was actually, born while I was going through chemo, and it was perfect timing that he was born, because, I'd be like in so much pain, and my daughter would like put him on top of me, and it would just, like the pain would like melt.
He was your medicine, huh? That's beautiful.
You hear people make that comment all the time, life is short, but you really understand and really get how fragile and truly short it is. We all have an expiration date. There's nothing you can do about that. So I think of, when that time comes, am I going to be pleased with, how I lived it? And if I'm fearful of something now, I just kind of do my best now to push through it, because, life is short. Am I done?
You're done. I'm just trying to get this overspray and excess stenciling. Dude, Drew is great at distracting people, right?
It was super helpful. It really was. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. Sorry.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. I love it. It's gorgeous. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Oh my God, it's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. It's more than. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
It's just beautiful. It's just, it really, especially it being the lotus, it's just a chapter of my life that it's gone. The chapters, we're past it, but it's something beautiful's come out of it. A lot of beautiful things have come out of that chapter. I love it. I really love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's almost like a little hard to process, because I knew I wanted something, but I wasn't sure what. And what he created, his vision was just exceeded anything I would have imagined. I almost feel like it's a bookend on that chapter, if that makes any sense. It's a beautiful bookend for me.
Thanks for watching. Think, Ink, and Drink is such a passion project for us, for me personally. We have so much more cool stuff coming up. New amazing artists, people getting tattoos, really cool tattoos, designs being done. So subscribe, hit the link below, Think, Ink, Drink, and keep hanging out with us, and we'll see you soon.